I did it because you asked me to. Now, just a few months ago, I posted a video about the X53 NZXT Kraken all-in-one 240mm cooler, and you guys tore into me over a Gamers Nexus video that said, stop doing this. And I got very confused at first because I had no idea the video went up, and all I could see were multiple comments from you guys like, hey, you're gonna destroy this all-in-one cooler, you need to flip it, and this is terrible, you're giving people bad advice. So I wanted to address that first and foremost, but I wanted to tell you, well, let's just get to that in a minute. So I want to address that. Now, something that you guys need to know is in that Gamers Nexus video, he talks about the water level being higher than the actual pump. So for example, the way gravity works, right, is as long as there's enough water here, it's going to flow down. Yes, I know there's a pump, right? But if the water level is below that pump, that's when air bubbles are created. So when I install my all-in-one coolers with the tubes on top, I make sure that those tubes sit above where that pump is. That way there is a water line that's above it, being the top water level, right? That is able to fill the tube and go down into the pump, the cooler head, and then circulate back into the radiator. Now, if you do that properly, you're not going to have any issues. Now, one of the things that I take responsibility for is not giving enough forewarning to the viewers that watch that video, which is why I'm making this one. Now, if you do mount your tubes up like I did in that video, and you're using an H510i or similar case where you're front mounting, or any other case for that matter where you're front mounting, if you are able to get a couple inches above where your cooler is, then you will be fine, because you won't be trapping air bubbles where those lines come out. You will have a water level that is sufficient to reach the tubes. But I should be clear that if you are concerned whatsoever, then you do want to flip that radiator. Now, a couple other things that Gamers Nexus covers in his video. He talks about graphics cards and other things, components getting in the way of those tubes, or not having enough length to move the radiator over and allow for the tubes to come up and attach to your CPU socket. So that is another issue that I ran into with the distance being further on the H510i, trying to get those tubes with a bottom mount to the top. In the end of the day, you guys, what I did was I updated my case. I got the Core P3 tempered glass from Thermaltake, and I went ahead and flipped that radiator back, and it was a grueling process, I have to tell you. It took me hours, but I did it because of you. And it was strenuous, and wire management was a pain, and I cried. I just about cried when I took those components out and had to flip that radiator. Because even though you told me to, I still wanted to be the odd person out that didn't do things the way you said. But at the end of the day, I thought about it. And I thought, well, what are you telling to the people watching your channel? Are you telling them that you're giving them the best advice? Or are you telling them that your advice is better than everybody else's, that nobody else can tell you that you're wrong? Well, I'm not trying to bash on anybody, but the reality is I've never had any issues with tubes being up in a proper position. And I've literally done this with all-in-ones that have sat in computers for 5 years. Long story short, you guys, I wanted to make this video because all of you guys out there commenting on that video and telling me, hey, you're terrible. Give people good opinions. This is not a good install guide. Don't follow this. Well, I appreciate you, because you did a couple things here. You made me watch the Gamers Nexus channel, even though I dabble from time to time. But you also made that video a success. So I want to thank you for the 100,000 views that I got on that video because of you. And I want to encourage you to go through all my other videos and tell me what I did wrong. But because of you, you guys, I have this brand new Core P3 case well, it's not brand new for the market, but it's brand new for me. And I have to say that my temps are phenomenal. And I do a review on the case, but you guys would probably call me out and say, Gamers Nexus already did this. What are we gonna do? You didn't cover this. But I'm just kind of going on a rant. And I wanted to have a little bit of fun because the reality is, at the end of the day, you watch the content here because I have a particular take on it that maybe is different from everybody else. And just because somebody tells you one thing doesn't mean a second thing can't be true at the same time. And it doesn't mean that first thing is wrong. Gamers Nexus is 100% right. And he did do some testing to verify that. I haven't really done a lot of testing other than my experience. And in my experience, the way I build PCs has always worked. It's worked for me, it's worked for everyone that I've built a PC for, and it works for this channel. So I appreciate you guys, and I encourage you, again, if you want to pick apart the videos, please comment below. I'm happy to hear it. But here's the remaining build laps of that PC that I strenuously worked on and so begrudgingly flipped my radiator on just to make you guys happy. And for that, I ask you to subscribe and like the channel and share it with your friends. But until the next time, you guys, I'll catch you in the next video.